Blessed love, give thanks for life and the mighty life giver, Jah
Rastafari.
Rastafari. This is the African Liberation Network, and I'm the host, Honorable Prophet Daniel. And we're here with a special guest, Honorable Priest Kailash at Mount Kailash Retreat Wellness Center, right? Yeah. So today we're going to reason with the priest, about African liberation and his area of expertise, which is health and well-being. So, Honorable, blessed love, my Lord.
Give thanks, my Lord.
Yeah, give thanks for your presence with us. Thanks for having us at the mountain.
Give thanks.
Yes. Can you just give us a reasoning about the importance of health and well-being as it pertains to African liberation?
When you say African liberation, what do you mean? The liberation of the continent?
The
The
people,
people?
the continent.
Well, liberation just means that being free,
Mm-hmm.
So if it is that free in what context? Um, Free from oppression, free from disease, free from sickness, free from economic strife, because well-being is not just restricted to not having diabetes or high blood pressure or prostate cancer or breast cancer. Well-being is being able to have something to eat when you rise up in the uprising.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to, for a child to be able to afford a proper education. Being able to take care of someone when they're not well. Just all these different aspects comes with well-being, the physical, taking care of it, the emotional, the spiritual, economical, cultural, meaning that we are anchored and rooted in our own realities.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I deal with wellness, but not just from a sickness and disease perspective, but from a holistic perspective, and not only just as an African, a man of African ascendance, as a man,
Mm-hmm.
as a human being. So it is knowing that it's I and I, which is not either or neither nor. It is I and I. So it's not a difference between people, but within the difference is just one similarity that we just want people. So for you to be well, that means that the other man have to be well. So you cannot be living good and eating and drinking and then your next door neighbor starving. He has nothing to eat. Obviously, if you have fruit trees that have nice juicy fruits in it, and then your neighbor, his children, you have 3 or 4 children and they have nothing to eat,
Mm-hmm.
and you have a big fence with dogs and everything in your yard, and you have nice fruit trees, and your next door neighbor hungry, what do you think will happen?
Well, there'll be contention, resentment,
Well, he'll climb and he'll come and steal the
for
fruits,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
because of hunger. So it's not just the well-being of the one, but it's the well-being of the all on all these different levels. So Africa liberation means just the liberation of people, So as people of African ascendance, our thing, the way that we actually live is just for the oneness and for the goodness of people. That's why we are Rastafari, righteous people. So our principles is always on that level of equity and balance. So yes, in my context of liberation, I would say, well, so the liberation of people,
Truly.
of just human beings, just greater than an individual race or a geographic location, because sometimes we restrict ourselves to definitions and locations and all these different aspects. And then, as His Imperial Majesty say until a philosophy that holds one race inferior and next one superior. You understand? So it is critical that we remove all these different separations, and and just deal with that article level as King Emmanuel teaches. So Africa well-being is wellness, is or liberation. That the wellness thing is liberation of the whole world, the whole globe. So
True.
that's my view.
Yeah, give thanks, my Lord. It's a holistic approach. So now, all right. With that being said, though, there is a specific set of conditions that people of African ascendance are faced with based on our history, which doesn't start with the transatlantic, what they call slave trade, but that had a big impact on our ancestors, and it still has an impact on our position and our lot in life today, as we have not really um, healed from that. As a people, we haven't gotten any restitution or restoration from the governments and things that inflicted those crimes against African humanity. So there's a lot of poverty and bad health, um, based on the practices that our ancestors learned on the plantation. So when it comes to Black people, African people, who I know are not the only people who suffer, but specifically to the Black people, what are some lifestyle choices that we can begin to embrace and apply to our daily lives, that we can become more healthy as a set of people? And when I say that, I don't mean just like food and herbs, but all around the board, like holistically, how can we approach life better so that we can get rid of some of the dis-ease and things that cause us to be on such a unhealthy way in a lot of instances.
Well, as Marcus Garvey said, let no man do for you what you could do for yourself. So that's the foundation of it.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they also say that laziness is the root of poverty, because out of the poorest places comes off the most beautiful. I mean, even in sewer, in sewage, in poop, some beautiful things grow from that.
Mm-hmm.
So this is our attitude towards life. So it's all about perception. So if you're looking from top to bottom, you see something. If you're looking from bottom to up, you see something. If you look from the right side, you see something. So right now I cannot see your right ear, right? But it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
True.
So the perception I have of you is that you have one ear. Okay.
Understood.
So it's based upon our perceptions and how we actually look at life. That would determine even what we think, what we eat, what we drink, where we go. So our people, as people of African ascendants, our people who were not slaves, but they were enslaved people.
Mm-hmm.
It is traumatic, yet still it has already been done. And the only way that you could get freedom or be a free man is by taking your freedom. It's not like somebody cannot give you freedom. It's not like you're going to sit down and wait for a man to tell you you're free, or no, you basically have that responsibility. Why wait for a man to do something for you that you could do for yourself? You could take your freedom. So because of our attitude towards our liberty, that is why most of us still living in that oppressed state of what do we perceive as being rich or poor, or happy or sad. The different aspects of the things that we set our heart's desires upon. It's not that we are in a really bad place. There are some wonderful things happening within us as a people. But what you celebrate is what you magnify. So it's not our issue is not what people do to us, but what we do to our own selves.
Mm.
Whereby we could come to the point of just celebrating yourself. Go celebrate yourself. So we don't believe in the principle of self-praise is no praise. Self-praise is the first praise. Being able to see your own intrinsic value and being able to value yourself and know your worth. That's going to determine how you behave, how you speak, how you eat, how you drink, just because of how you value yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you give yourself no value, how is it that you'll be able to treat yourself? If you have a very expensive vehicle, certain places you just won't go with it for sure. because it's expensive. You know, if you bought your pants for a certain amount of money, you think you're going to sit down on a stay in the chair with it? No. So you deal with it based upon the value that you give that thing to you, whether sentimental or economic. So we must start from that point.
Mindset.
Yeah, mindset, just the perception. You know, make a conscious decision that you walk the road that leads to your own happiness. For the best outcome for you possible. So yes, there are poor people, but there are people that were born poor, but right now are billionaires. All right. So there are circumstances whereby our people then, even like, you know, and that's why we have the principle of the righteous entrepreneur. You know, so being able to rise and people rise up with you. So you become, you know, so and then rise up because you could, because you're a righteous man, you can't be a billionaire or trillionaire. You could, and be doing righteous things. You know, so it is critical that our perception of things don't limit us, you know, and then all of our actions are towards our own liberty and our own fundamental wellness. And so if our people is in poverty, what can I do to assist them? So if each person takes up one person, you know, the world will be a better place.
Truly.
You understand? So let us see what we could do for ourselves. Because as when the love and the understanding grow among ourselves, then you could take your freedom. But you have to ask nobody that. So give me that one, that's mine one. And then they'll get to you. Why? Because you as a unit, you're strong. Because you've worked it out. You know, you've you know, as I say, from center to circumference. You know, from the inside out.